Stocks are down, inflation is up, and investors are moody. Nobody is asking it out loud, but everyone is wondering the same thing. Are we heading into a recession?
Inflation in the United Kingdom has surged to a new 40-year high and is now in double digits.
Warning that the UK will fall into recession this year.
The world is worried about a recession. There is no doubt that a downturn is coming. Leading economies are predicting a slowdown.
They say that we are already in recession.
2 months back, Bank of England forecasted that the UK is going to enter into recession starting from the end of this year, and its economy is expected to shrink by 1% in 2023. On the other side of the pond, the US Federal Reserve says that the inflation has jumped to a 40-year high over the past 18 months. It also said that the central bank has raised rates 5 times so far this year. In fact, the world's 3 largest economies are stalling, with consequences for the global outlook, and inflation is a major concern all over the globe. Now coming back to the UK, this is being considered as the worst recession that the UK has ever faced in the past 40 years. This is not the first time this has happened. There was a major crisis back in 2008, and it was the deepest UK recession since the Second World War. That year left an everlasting bruise on the UK's economic state. Is the same expected to happen this time around as well? And how does this really affect the education sector for international students like you? Historically, as the economies got smaller, lots of people lost their jobs and employers stopped hiring. By the end of 2011, almost 2.7 million people were looking for work. The quarterly unemployment rate reached 8.4%, which is the highest rate it has been since 1995. Will history be repeating itself? These kind of stories have left students aspiring to study abroad doubtful as to should they really go abroad and study in 2023. So the real questions that come here are, should you really go ahead and move? Are you going to get a job? What will my future look like post my graduation? That said, while things may look gloomy, a recession has its positive sides as well. For example, a recession period is proven to be one of the best times to invest. And I'm going to tell you how and why you should go ahead and study abroad in 2023 and make the most out of it. Hey guys, my name is Abhyank Srinet. I'm the CEO and study abroad expert at MIMSA and Mentally, and I've been working in this industry for the past 7 years, since 2015. And that said, this is the first time I've been seeing people getting scared of even applying abroad. We get hundreds of questions every day if the recession is going to spoil my study abroad chances or not. Don't worry guys, your interest is in our prime priority, and we're going to answer this question for once and for all. But before we begin, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to MIMSA to get all the latest study abroad updates. Let's begin and answer how this recession is going to affect your study abroad plans in 2023. I understand this new recession can directly affect aspirants like you, and you may be asking questions like, okay, expenses will be skyrocketing, inflation will be at the peak, so what should I really do? Okay, let's go ahead and start dissecting. First, let's look at expenses, and let's look at the biggest expense ever, the tuition fee. Does this mean colleges and universities will increase tuition fees? You may be thinking here that qualitative costs will be higher, and students may find it more difficult to pay their fees. But actually what the thing is that universities might not raise fees at all. In fact, there might even be fee cuts. International students are a great source of revenue for these universities and in effect the government. And without having this influx of international students, the universities will find it difficult to recover financially. Universities heavily rely on fees that international students pay for the cash flow required to run their business. So while the overall economy is suffering, the universities more than ever and the economy require an injection from other economies to survive. This is through all these international students flowing in. So my take here would be that while you may find a slight increase in your living expenses because of the inflation, but frankly that's everywhere, the tuition fees would not really increase. So you're safe on that point. Now coming to the next question. Will I be able to meet my everyday expenses? Or what if I need a loan here? Now this is where you need to be careful. You need to budget everything in advance. You need to cut down on the not so required expenses and make the best use of your Indian genes. Jugaad at max. And for your information, if you really require loans, there are plenty of loans available. That will cover your entire tuition fee and living expenses. And that also at pretty low rates, both collateral and non-collateral. Now let's move on to the main goal of studying abroad, job opportunities. This is the god of all questions. What about the jobs? Will I be getting a job? Because this is what we need at the end of the day. You will be surprised to know here that the students who started their college in 2008 and then graduated in 2009 or 2010 had a great number of job opportunities opening up post-recession. Hence, don't worry guys. So what a lot of people don't realize is you will be going to study next year, that is 2023, or let's say next year, that's 2024. The recession is supposed to start from the end of this year and will at max last for about 12 to max 18 months. By the time you graduate, that is 2024 September, you'll be graduating into a much stronger job market with much more money for companies to spend. and hence they will definitely go on a hiring spree and you'll be entering a much more stronger job market. That said, people who are studying right now and will be graduating next year, they are going to have a hard luck ahead. They will need to work extra hard to go ahead and find the job opportunity, especially because a lot of hiring freezes have happened right now. Practically speaking, 1.5 years down the line, when you're graduating, the market will open up and bigger manpower will be required to reverse the economic decline. And the top companies and recruiters will be needing skilled employees like you to overcome their losses and make sure they go roaring ahead in the new economic upturn. Point number 3, what about the visa? Will you be really getting a visa at this time of recession and suppressed economies? Well, you want a sigh of relief? Recession has given a rise in school and college intakes. And you would be amazed to hear that more than 117,000 Indian students were issued visas for UK by the end of June 2022, which is an 89% increase from 2021. Now, India also has overtaken China to become the largest nationality which has issued study visas in the UK, and that is a record in itself. Point number 4, when should I really go and study abroad? Should I go now? Should I go next year? Should I go in 2024? Well, there's a pretty simple answer to it. So right now the economy is cold and the economy is going to get colder post-December. So now that the job market is cold and you have a higher chance of, let's say, layoffs, or you have a higher chance of not getting a job, now is the best time to actually invest in yourself. Go ahead, plan your GMAT, plan your GRE, plan your TOEFL, plan your IELTS, whatever it is that you want to do, depending on the college criteria, and start your application. That way, you can actually make the most of this cold economy state. And as I said in point 1, by the time you graduate, you're able to ride off this cold wave and enter into a really strong and roaring economy. Always remember, Indra Nooyi and Satya Nadella wouldn't have become one of the biggest entrepreneurs of the world today if they'd succumbed to these small problems. There have been a huge number of recessions in the past. It really happens every 10 years. But you need not take them directly into your head because it's not the end of the world. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. If you want to study abroad and need a reliable expert who can help ensure that you land into a good school and hence have great job prospects at the end of the recession, you can go ahead and book a free consultation session with us via the link below. And we'll help you decide which is the correct school to apply to so you don't succumb to Tier 2, Tier 3 schools and not get a job at the end of your graduation ceremony. So now I hope I've been able to convince you that it's not all gloomy and dark. You can actually go ahead, study abroad and make the most of this recession. I'm going to give you 3 points on how you can prepare yourself to make sure that you come out really strong. Point number 1, plan in advance. You need to write down every single expense as small as buying toilet paper so that you're not thrown off in the last moment. Have a reserve. I used to have an Excel maintained of all my expenses. Point number 2, find a stepping stone. Say if you're doing an MBA and want to get into investment banking but are not able to find a job. You can try for an opening as a financial analyst. You can go ahead and join as an intern, which may lead you to your ultimate goal. Don't get stuck in applying for that one particular company or one particular job. Keep exploring. Point number 3, attend conferences, panel discussions, be active on LinkedIn, network, join clubs, join associations, try meeting up with speakers and other experts, as they are amazing resources and can give you that one referral which will help you land that job. So network properly and use everything to your advantage and it's really going to pay off. I'll also add a bonus tip. You can apply for merit scholarships given by the schools. It depends on how good your profile and your application is. You can also apply to government scholarships from India like Tata Foundation, Naga Khan Foundation Scholarship. You can message us and we'll give you the full list. You can also apply for government grants in the country you're applying to, like the US government or the UK government's Commonwealth Scholarship or the Chapel Scholarship in France. So there are multiple things you can do to make sure that you have all the finances required to go ahead and make this recession the best thing that can ever happen to you. I hope this video was helpful and will help you in make a valid and well thought of decision. If you have any other questions related to studying abroad, do let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to help you out. Lastly, if you're planning to study abroad and still haven't booked a session with us, please go ahead and click on the link below and our experts will make sure that you land into the best school possible for yourself.